Have you ever watched a sporting event and saw somebody win a championship and you saw the look on their face and the excitement and the cheering and the celebration that takes place? Or have you ever saw a team lose? Maybe they lost a playoff game or a championship game and they have this look of dejection and they're frustrated and they're really upset. And I started thinking about, as a sports fan, why people play the game. Because at the end of the day, let's look at the college level. We just had Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes win a national championship. And if I think about watching Ohio State over the last 5-6 years when Ryan Day was the head coach, he had a mandate: win a national championship. And there's some programs in the country that have standards where if you don't win a national championship, you're an utter failure. And a lot of the big programs are like that. Now, I do understand that some of these coaches and on the college level, they get paid a lot of money. And some of the players at the college level, they're going to end up making a lot of money in the NFL. But I want to take you back, whether you start as Little League or you start in high school or you go in college, we all know that the overwhelming majority of people that play sports, they're not going to win a big championship and they're not going to become decamillionaires. But think about at the college level, only 5% of the players end up going into the NFL, or even less than that. But when they lose a game, I ask myself, which one is heavier? Which one has a bigger weight? Is it the loss, the pain? Is it the weight of the loss? Or is it the pleasure of the victory? Which one has a greater reward? In other words, if you thought about adding up to 1, and 0.5 is winning, and you can get up to 0.5 for a win, or you can get up to 0.5 for a loss. And at the end of the game, there's people that were 0.5 for losing and 0.5 for winning, and it adds up to 1. I just don't think it adds up to 1, meaning I've seen enough sports and I've seen enough competition, and this could be political events and rallies, or it could be business successes, or it could be relationship successes. We'll get to those in a minute. But I was thinking, I remember when Ohio State lost to Michigan 4 years in a row. And after that fourth one, Ryan Day's face was really red. He was frustrated. The look on his face seemed heavier for the loss than even the win against Notre Dame that he got the victory. And it makes me wonder why we embark and why we go through so much pain. Think about the early travelers or settlers or people that traveled across the United States. We had people that got into ships from Europe. And the majority of these ships don't make it. They don't get gold and they don't get success. Many of them die at sea and bad things happen to people, but they go out there anyways. Or space exploration, that many of them were not fruitful and didn't accomplish very much, but people still went out there and made that risk. And that what drives that human spirit? Is it the hope? Is it the potential for victory? Is it really money? And so going back to the sports, I think that the overwhelming majority of people, their season ends in a loss. They end frustrated. Not a lot of people win national championships in the college level. And you even look at the professional level. You have America's team as the Cowboys in sports. And I don't want to bother any Cowboy fans, but this is a team that doesn't win. And every single year you see Cowboy fans get so excited and they get so up. And then the season ends in a loss. And even in this year, you have two division rivals with the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles, both from the Cowboys division, making the NFC Championship game. Yet next year, I guarantee you at the start of the year, you're going to be hearing Cowboy fans fired up for the season. And which one's bigger? Is it that they're fired up at the start of the year? Does that weigh more? Or is it the loss at the end of the year that weighs more? And I think it's the loss at the end of the year, but us, our human spirit and our human nature, we still want more of it, and we still go get more of it. Think about the Yankees. The Yankees in baseball, they're by far the most lucrative team. Maybe the Dodgers are up there right now too. And being from Los Angeles, full disclosure, I'm a Dodger fan, and so this one could be biased. But I think about the Yankees. I love when I see the Yankees win, and that was really cool when they had Derek Jeter. But for the majority of time, that the season ends in a loss, and it ends in pain, no matter how much money that they spend. And again, these are professional athletes that make it to the professional level. And in my last video, I talked about the great comeback stories, and we talked about Donald Trump coming back and having this great political victory. And I wonder, if I was to ask Donald Trump a question, which one carried more weight? Was it the pain of the defeat of the last election, or was it the pleasure of the victory of this election? And I don't know the answer to the question, but I believe that it's the pain of the defeat. Think about a few areas of our life. When we get into a relationship, when we're in high school or college, the majority of your boyfriends and your girlfriends are going to end in what? It's going to end in a breakup. But we still embark and we still get into these relationships, and we may or may not fall in love, and we share ourselves with people, and we open up our heart. And then what ends up happening is that we have a pain and a defeat at the end, but we're still willing to go do it again. I ask myself, when people open up a restaurant, when I'm driving down the street and I look at new restaurant grand opening, new restaurants opening, 1 out of 20 restaurants, 5% of restaurants make it 5 years. Why would people still have a goal of opening a restaurant when only 1 out of 20 restaurants even make it in business? As an entrepreneur myself, when I got started in business, so many people told me, you're going to not make it, or people don't make it, or how many people in your industry or your company really make it at the end of the day. And I would hear all of this negativity, and it made me believe that the negativity and the pain of a loss weighed heavier on people than the pleasure of the victory. And so we still go out there and we still embark as an entrepreneur. And you could say it's to make millions of dollars, but for the majority of entrepreneurs, maybe it ends in them showing not enough commitment to be victorious. Maybe it ends in a loss. Maybe they never made the money that they wanted to make, but we still go out there and we try it anyways. I think about people that go to church, and I ask myself, I will never know everybody's heart, but when you're in church, do the majority of people walk into the church saying, thank you, God, for all the blessings and everything that you're doing for me, and I love what's going on in my life, and I'm very grateful? Or is there more feelings of guilt, sorrow, frustration, negativity? God, why is this happening? Why did this happen? Why? Or guilt of, I need forgiveness, or I don't even want to go to church because I don't even feel like I deserve to be in the presence of God. And so regardless of whether it's embarking into a business or whether you're embarking in a relationship and you want to fall in love and maybe get married and live happily ever after, or maybe you want to have kids. I ask parents a lot, like, which one's your favorite kid? And I joke around with that example because parents will look back at you and say, oh, I love all of my children. Pick one of my favorites. I didn't say, and I tell them, I didn't say which one do you love or not love. I know you love all your children. I asked you which one's your favorite. Because for a lot of parents, when they think of their children, are you really thinking about when you held them in your arms for the first time and how wonderful and sweet they are? Or are you thinking about the chores that they didn't do, or the last time they got in trouble, or the last fight that you had with that individual? Meaning what? What carries more on our heads? Is it the love of something, or is it the pain of something? And I think in life that the greatest lessons is pain. I think Ryan Day in Ohio State had many painful experiences, and that loss to Michigan was really a scar. And I think that it motivated them and it propelled them through the college football season. And I think that in the end, if you ask any of the players, they're fired up for winning the national championship. But I think if you ask them, which one carried more weight? That victory that you had against Ohio State or that loss that you had against Michigan? And I think the weight of the loss is the lessons that we learn in life, but our human spirit is curious. Our human spirit wants to give it a shot anyways. We're very hopeful. You think about how Barack Obama won his presidency. I think one of the main reasons was that he was selling hope and change, and people are hopeful for the future. But if you really ask yourself how many people's lives were directly impacted or benefited long-term from Barack Obama being the president, or you could even say Donald Trump being the president, we'll never know the answer of that. However, human beings are willing to give it a shot. We're willing to try, especially if we have something that we are hopeful for. But I think the pain of these losses and the pain of defeats is what carries us through and helps us win a championship. And so if you're trying to be a leader in your life, and you want to be a leader at your church, or you want to be a leader in your marriage, or you want to be a leader at home, or you want to be a leader in business, or you want to make a lot of money, I want you to know that there are lots of painful defeats. There are a lot of tough days. There are a lot of hours and nights where you're going to bed at night and you're stressed out, you're scared, you're worried. And this is whether you're in love. This is whether you're seeking to go to heaven. This is whether you're trying to build a business and you're campaigning and you're engaging people to be affiliated with you and to follow you. You have to have faith. And you have to have hope about where you're going. And you have to learn from those painful defeats, but at the same time, be excited for the victory that's coming. And on your pathway to being a better leader, a leader for life, we want to go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you like this content. Share it with others, leave a comment, like it. Let us know how we can help you be a better leader.